This evening, first, a night out with friends and relatives ends with a fisherman bleeding on the ground outside a Corriverton supermarket, and the person now charged with his manslaughter is only 15 years old. He has been released into his parents' custody as the case moves forward. Also, the president's brother lawyers up. Mohamed Aqtar Ali, the month's opposition leader, withdrew allegations made in a viral video seen over 384,000 times, calling them defamatory. Retract or face legal action without further notice. Then, those speeding cameras are watching you. They are being watched too. The Bureau of Standards is checking roughly 20 cameras nationwide for accuracy, pulling any that misread from service until they are corrected. Meanwhile, he took precautions and still collapsed on the job. A 67-year-old security officer in Camp Street tells us what the heat did to him and how long he waited for an ambulance, a warning everyone should pay attention to. And in the Congo, the Ebola crisis is now making childbirth deadly. Health service use has dropped over 40% in the worst hit areas, and birth-related deaths in Ituri have doubled. Those stories and more are coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 18, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a 15-year-old from Corriverton has been charged with manslaughter in the death of a fisherman and released into his parents' custody. Dale Jarvis has more.
A 50-year-old boy of Corriverton quarantine has been charged with manslaughter 4 days after an altercation left 55-year-old fisherman Mohamed Aqtar Hussein dead. The teen was arrested on August 12th and formally charged on August 17th. He was reportedly involved in a physical confrontation with Hussein of Dukestown, Corriverton, who sustained a fatal wound allegedly inflicted by the teen. According to reports, the incident occurred around 9 p.m. near a supermarket. Hussein had been socializing with friends and relatives on Wednesday night when he got up and walked toward a Chinese-operated supermarket. Moments later, he was found laying on the ground nearby bleeding. The teen, reportedly armed with a knife believed to be the murder weapon, fled the scene shortly after. Hussein was rushed to the number 75 Village Regional Hospital by his brother, but succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment. The accused appeared before Magistrate Michel Matthias at the New Amsterdam Magistrates Court, where the indictable charge was read to him. Taking into account the provisions of the Juvenile Justice Act, the court released the teen into his parents' custody. Magistrate Matthias ordered him to report to the Sparendam police station on the last Friday of every month and barred him from leaving the jurisdiction until the matter concludes. The case was adjourned to September 17, 2026 for a report to the Springlands Magistrates Court. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Mohamed Aqtar Ali, brother of President Dr. Mohamed Aqtar Ali, has threatened legal action against opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed over statements made in a viral video describing them as unsubstantiated and defamatory. Aqtar Ali is a senior technical consultant engaged by Sigma Engineer Limited, a Bangladeshi company incorporated in 2003 and registered in Guyana in October 2022. In a video posted on the Team Mohammed Facebook page on August 17th, the opposition leader alleged that Aqtar Ali was a director or shareholder in the company, that it was being fronted for him by a Bangladeshi Canadian associate, and that his name appeared on the company's financials. The video also referenced Aqtar Ali's presence at the State House, questioned the extent of his access and influence, and suggested that land had become available for a company bond due to his relationship with the president. In a letter sent on Aqtar Ali's behalf, Attorney Kashir Khan stated that the allegations weren't true and unsupported by evidence. The letter specifically denied that Aqtar Ali is or has ever been a director or shareholder in any of the referenced companies, calling the suggestion that he intended to rob taxpayers especially egregious. According to the letter, the video has been viewed more than 384,000 times and drawn over 1,600 comments, many of them negative, and has also been covered in the press. Khan warned that any further repetition or publication of the statements would only amplify their defamatory impact and demand the allegations be withdrawn forthwith. Failing that, He said legal actions would be pursued to protect his client's reputation without further notice. Staying with current events, Sigma Engineers Limited Incorporated is pushing back against allegations made by opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed, declaring it has engaged legal counsel and intends to pursue appropriate legal action. The company issued a statement rejecting claims concerning its establishment, government contracts, and its connection to Mohamed Aqtar Ali, brother of President Dr. Mohamed Aqtar Ali, describing the allegations as serious misrepresentations of fact. Sigma disputed claims that it was established just days before receiving a government contract, noting it has been incorporated and operating in Bangladesh since 2003 and was registered in Guyana on October 6, 2022. Despite that registration, the company said its first contract in Guyana was not awarded until 2026, following a competitive bidding process conducted by the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board. The company confirmed Aqtar Ali is engaged as a senior technical consultant. Still, it maintained that he has no affiliation with Sigma Engineers in Bangladesh without detailing his specific responsibilities or the terms of his engagement. In a pre-action protocol letter, attorney Says Conraj outlined the company's former position, stating Sigma has been awarded only a single contract since incorporation for rehabilitation of the shelter belt at Ghana Water Incorporated and denied receiving the multiple multi-billion-dollar contracts alleged in Mohammed's August 17 video on the Team Mohammed Facebook page. The letter rejected suggestions of impropriety in Sigma's incorporation and contract awards, denied any improper association with Aqtar Ali, and disputed claims linking the company to the deaths of 2 children who drowned near a GWI facility on Pago Day. Conraj demanded Mohammed cease publishing the allegations, delete the content, issue a written retraction and apology with equal prominence to the original publication, and pay compensation and legal costs. Failing compliance, the letter warned Sigma would pursue high court proceedings, seeking damages, an injunction, and other relief. Stick around when we return. Security officer collapses on Camp Street worksite amid severe heat wave, and GNBS conducts second round of speed camera verification nationwide.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2026 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Persons eligible for registration must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for their area of residence to apply. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were registered. Applied for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID cards. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of the above transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who are already registered must collect their new ID cards if they have not yet done so. This registration exercise will end on November 30, 2026. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at a different address than the one you were registered at. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. A 67-year-old security officer collapsed on the job on Camp Street amid Ghana's scorching heat conditions and waited more than 20 minutes for an ambulance. Esther Sobers has more.
Guyana has been experiencing notably hot conditions, with temperatures and the heat index making outdoor work particularly challenging. For 67-year-old Charlene Sherlin, the effects of the heat became a frightening reality while he was on the job. Sherlin, a security officer, says he was at his work site on Camp Street when he suddenly fell unwell and eventually collapsed.
Temperature in the place was very hot during the day. I drank a lot of water, but at 6:45, that's 18:45, as you see, around that time, I get a slight dizziness, of the head. Then I sit down, I continue to sit down, so I said, don't let nothing overcome me. And after that, I don't know anything. I fell to the ground. Somebody was walking the pavement, saw me in the ground. They called a woman outside that's selling that the man inside fall down. She came and she called the manager of the place.
And while Sherlin was dealing with the effects of the heat, another concern emerged, getting him to medical care. Sherlin says he waited for more than 20 minutes for an ambulance.
4 times he called and no ambulance arrived. My supervisor took me to the hospital. We got there, they did some tests.
Which hospital did you visit?
Public hospital, Georgetown. And they did some tests with eyes, ears, tongue, and take some blood samples. And they say that, the doctor told me that I'm dehydrated because my tongue is dry. And she said that she can do a blood test when they do a pressure test. When they did the pressure test, the reading of the pressure test was 170/67. And that's very good for that type of condition, such things. And they gave me some tablets, right? Presently now I'm walking with them because I have to use them when I finish eat. This one, I gotta use it every 8 hours. Right? This other one is after meals. This one is likewise after meals too. So I have to keep them intact with me everywhere I'm going. I have to keep them with me so to use them. I can continue to take. But I drank a lot of water and I don't know, I can't understand how that happened. Really, I don't know how that happened.
Sherlin's experience comes at a time when the public is being urged to take extra precautions amid very hot conditions. Health professionals generally advise people working or spending extended periods outdoors to drink fluids regularly, take breaks in cooler areas, and pay attention to warning signs such as dizziness, weakness, headache, confusion, or fainting. For Sherlin, however, the experience shows that even when someone believes that they are taking precautions, the effects of the extreme heat can still come unexpectedly. Though doing much better, his experience serves as a reminder of the dangers that can come with prolonged exposure to excessive heat and the importance of getting timely medical attention when a health emergency occurs. For Channel 2 Headline News, I'm Esther Silver-Singh.
Thanks, Esther. The Ghana National Bureau of Standards has commenced its second round of verification checks on speed cameras installed along the country's roadways as part of efforts to ensure the devices remain accurate and reliable in enforcing speed limits. GNBS's head of Legal Metrology Service Department, Shilin Jurai, told the Department of Public Information on Monday that the agency has completed approximately 20 speed camera verifications so far in 2026. The exercise, conducted every 6 months, is being carried out nationwide. GNBS has already completed checks along the east coast and in Georgetown and is currently verifying cameras along the east bank of the Marara. Rai explained that the process involves testing overhead speed cameras to determine whether they are functioning properly and accurately recording vehicle speeds. Where a camera is found to be malfunctioning or recording inaccurately, it is removed from service until repairs or adjustments are completed. Most of the time, it is not really a functionality issue. Probably its reading is off and it is basically an adjustment that has to be done before it is re-verified, Rice said. The verification program will continue along the East Bank, including cameras at connecting roads such as Greenfield and Massey Road, before moving to the West Coast where additional overhead cameras are installed. Don't go away after the break. Syrian man dies in police custody. Former white helmet was allegedly beaten and quake damage. Hospital treats nearly 200 patients in tents.
Problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Hiddens tonight. A high-level OAS and CARICOM delegation heads to Haiti ahead of December elections. Congo's Ebola outbreak is making childbirth deadly as health services collapse. A former White Helmets volunteer dies in Syrian police custody, and Indonesia's earthquake victims are being treated in hospital car parks. We will start in the Caribbean, where OAS Secretary General Albert Ramdin will lead a high-level international delegation to Haiti from August 16 to 19 as the country prepares for presidential and legislative elections scheduled for December 13th. The delegations includes CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett and representatives from the United Nations, World Bank, and other regional bodies. Officials will meet with Haitian government leaders, security forces, and the Provisional Electoral Council. The DRC's worst Ebola outbreak to date is turning childbirth into a terrifying ordeal. Al Jazeera's Carleg reports.
For this new mother, the birth of her baby should have been a moment of joy. But she gave birth during the DRC's worst Ebola outbreak to date, a time when many other people are avoiding medical centres. She says the memory of the birth will stay with her, but so too will the emotional trauma of the day she was born.
It was really stressful because I was in a clinic near the Ebola treatment center. Even when the nurses and midwives came to see us, it sometimes traumatized me. We had also witnessed many Ebola-related deaths. I thought to myself, Lord, I don't want to risk catching this disease.
Officials say the fear of Ebola is keeping people from seeking healthcare, and missed prenatal appointments are on the rise, a trend that brings further danger with it.
When women miss appointments, it becomes difficult to know in time if the fetus has a problem. We can sometimes detect these complications before they become serious. But when women stay at home for fear of infection, we see more complications, including stillbirth and premature birth.
The UN says more than 7.5 million people have been affected by the outbreak's secondary impact on health systems and essential services. The UN deputy spokesperson says the use of health services in the hardest hit areas has dropped by more than 40%. In Uturi province, the UN also says deaths from birth-related complications have doubled to about 6 per week. The outbreak, caused by the Bundibujo strain of Ebola virus, for which there is no vaccine, has now spread to 6 provinces. And health workers trying to contain it are facing their own challenges. Some have gone on strike due to unpaid wages, disrupting contact tracing.
Several healthcare facilities were closed for a period of time. We too were closed for 21 days. Healthcare staff were quarantined to ensure that no one showed any signs of the disease, and thus prevent any potential contamination of patients. Then we disinfected the entire facility before reopening it to patients.
There is, however, some hope on the horizon. The World Health Organization says 2 vaccines specifically designed against this strain have now entered early-stage human trials. But for new mothers, the immediate challenge is much more basic: finding the confidence to seek care during this current crisis. Cara Leg, Al Jazeera.
A former White Helmets volunteer, Mohamed Aqtar, died after an alleged beating in police custody in Latakia, despite officers being warned about his hemophilia. Al Jazeera's Heidi Pett reports.
The grief of a mother whose son died after being abused in detention is something many Syrians hoped they would never see again. Or the shock of a wife, now wondering how to raise 2 children on her own. Mohamed Aqtar walked into Al Hafa police station in Latakia after being summoned to answer questions over a financial dispute. He came out in a coma and is now in this shroud. His family say Mohamed died of a brain hemorrhage and other internal bleeding as a result of being beaten in detention at this police station. His wife informed the officers that he had haemophilia, a blood disorder which makes it hard for his body to stop bleeding. The warning didn't save him.
This wasn't an individual mistake because I went to the head of security and warned him about his condition, and they didn't listen. The second time I went to the interrogator and warned him. They beat him. Why? Who takes responsibility? As long as I have breath in my body, I will not be silent.
Mohamed had already survived much. He and his father took part in the revolution and were under siege in the Damascus suburb of Ghouta. Mohamed joined the White Helmets, volunteer frontline first responders who worked in opposition areas. Rad El-Salah, former head of the White Helmets and now Minister for Emergencies, said on Monday that in the new Syria there's no room for impunity, that there should be justice worthy of people's sacrifices for a state where their rights and dignity were protected.
Many Syrians had hoped that the days of death in detention were over, gone along with the Assad regime. But Mohamed's case is not the first of mistreatment under the new authorities. Just days ago, a Syrian rights group published a report accusing the government of rebuilding what it described as the machinery of violence. It detailed 19 testimonies, including cases of death in custody and abuse, including torture by electric shock.
Protests were organised across the country. In Aleppo, people were only allowed to gather for 15 minutes before security forces told them the protest was unsanctioned and that they should go home. Organisers of a large protest scheduled for Wednesday in Damascus have postponed it after they were contacted by the Presidential Office and Interior Ministry. They agreed to give the government 72 hours to take action. All eyes are now on the government to see how they will respond. The Minister of Interior has suspended 7 police officers, established a committee to investigate the incident, and is expected to deliver its results by Wednesday evening.
Anything else that you want to say that I didn't ask?
It is little comfort to those left behind, who had hoped for better.
I was happy, but now, no. Even if there's justice for my husband and compensation for my children, they'll alleviate only 1% of my grief.
The White Helmet's jacket on his grave, a symbol of a group that saved lives and the values of the revolution. Values many Syrians say must be protected. Heidi Pett, Al Jazeera, Latakia, Syria.
One of the worst hit areas in Indonesia's powerful earthquake is Rotang, where local hospitals is so badly damaged that nearly 200 patients are being treated in tents in a car park. Al Jazeera's Jessica Washington reports.
In one of the worst affected areas in Saturday morning's powerful earthquake, the local hospital in Rotang was severely damaged. Patients with various injuries and illnesses are receiving medical care in tents.
Nearly 200 patients are being treated in this car park in Ruteng. Some of them were inside the hospital when the earthquake struck, and others were injured in their homes.
Bunny was trapped under debris for 2 hours before relatives pulled her out.
I felt so scared when I was trapped, and I was also worried about my mother.
Grieving her mother and in physical pain too, doctors suspect that her right leg is broken. They're grappling with limited supplies of medicine, equipment and staff.
What we need most right now is a space where we can treat patients, where they can be safe and comfortable.
The youngest patient here is Pasca, who has digestive and respiratory issues. He has to stay at the hospital tent overnight for treatment.
My child is only 2 months old and staying in a tent like this. It is hot during the day, while at night the temperature in Ruteng can be very cold.
Like many here, their home was damaged in the earthquake. People in this village in Ruteng say they're yet to receive assistance from the government and have only received food from the local church. Many people here are sleeping outdoors under plastic sheets turned into makeshift tents in front of their ruined homes. Martina says she and her husband saved for decades to build their home, which they finished only last year.
For 30 years, I dreamt of having a house like this, and in an instant it's gone. My heart can no longer take it, especially since we are still in debt from building it.
She says she hasn't been able to sleep since the earthquake. Her mind is too occupied with thoughts of how to keep her children safe and healthy, and wondering if they'll ever have a home again. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, East Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia.
Thanks, Dominic. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-minute forecast. And that's it to the 2 headline news for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.